Hello, everyone. Welcome to my week 5 discussion post. Hopefully, everyone's having a great week. Looking forward to listening to all your discussion posts on this week's topic. Um, After listening to the TED Talk from Rosaline Torres, I thought she shared great information about what it takes to be a great leader. She mentions the stories that would resurface throughout her studies. There was the guy named Chris, where he was the superstar leader, but then failed after he moved into a new unit. Then there was the CEO named Sydney, when she failed to become one of the top 50 leaders from her company that actually produces high leaders. The last story that she mentioned was the senior leadership team who was surprised from the market shift and would eventually have to shut their business down. She ends up asking those two questions, which were, why is the leadership gap widening? And what are the successful leaders doing? I thought it was pretty crazy that she ended up leaving her job to study these questions full time, but then she was able to travel the world and she was able to learn about the ineffective and effectiveness of leadership from other companies and countries. She eventually came back and worked for the company she works for now and ends up teaming up with people who were actually interested with those same questions. I thought it was interesting when she says that relying on traditional development practices will stunt your growth as a leader. She says that traditional assessments like Narrow 360 and outdated performance criteria will give false positives. It was interesting because my organization does evaluations every year, but one year we were able to fill out a survey about leaders in our department, and I in our department she mentions that those assessments give false positives because it shows you're more prepared than you really are. This made me think about this statement because I believe it shows us as leaders that what our staff or peers think of us, we may get the piece of paper back and think to ourselves, we're better than we thought, or we need to work on our leadership skills and preparations. The three questions that Torres says what makes a great leader in the 21st century was, where are you looking to anticipate change? She says that the answer is actually in your calendar. I thought that's pretty cool. She says who you're spending time with and what topics you're talking about, where you're traveling, and what are you reading. Are you able to do something that say that you say, and are you prepared? I also liked how she states that great leaders are not just with your head down, but they're looking around the corners. I feel like great leaders are always looking for new ways to improve their workflow and their departments or workplace environment. I have always followed a method, think smarter, not harder, um, and to be able to come up with new ideas and improve the way we lead our staff members. The second question was, what is the diversity measure of your network? She says that you should develop relationships with people who are different than you, people who think differently than you can bring more solutions to the table. I thought that was pretty interesting fact. And then the third question, are you courageous enough to abandon the past? She says, as a leader, chances are you keep doing what is comfortable and what you're familiar with. Great leaders actually look for change and dare to be different. I like how she said leaders don't talk about risk taking, they actually do it. The question that we need to answer, think about your current work environment. How are the leaders answering these questions? What are you doing that will help answer these questions? For my organization and my department, I see my manager looking to change and adapt to new ideas every day. Right now, we're actually looking to how to incorporate AI technology into our workflows and work environment. He's always been looking for new ways to improve. I've been mentored from him for the last 10 years, and I'm starting to think the same way that he is and always trying to improve my team as much as possible and improve our efficiency. The diversity of our network, the leaders in my organization are made up of all other different people. We bounce ideas off of each other, but at the end of the day, we are given the authority from our tribal leaders, which is our tribal council, and for what they want us to do. The third question, I feel my organization can stay in the past, or I feel organizations can stay in the past and um, working and being comfortable to them. If that's the case, companies will never be able to get ahead of the new leadership ways that are today. I think it's important for companies and organizations to continue to learn new ways of doing things and that they step out of their comfort zones and take that courageous leap. So that is my week 5 discussion. Um, Thank you.